Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the Jurassic Park Podcast YouTube channel. I am Brad Jost, the host of the Jurassic Park Podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look, unboxing this, and reviewing the Sinoceratops / Pachyrhinosaurus from Mattel. I have been dying to get this item. It was kind of hard to find around my area for quite a while, but just recently it started popping up, and it actually started popping up all over the place, so now it's pretty widespread. You can find this fairly easily now, and I absolutely love it. From the second I saw this, if you take away the Pachyrhinosaurus aspect, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Take that away, this very much represents the color scheme and everything of the Sinoceratops from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So I saw that color scheme, I loved how it looked in the film. Obviously this is a little bit different, but I think it's beautiful as it is, even though it's incorrect. Just to kind of get this out in the open, I am going to be referring to it as the Sinoceratops, just because that's what the toy is. Mattel is telling me that this is a Sinoceratops, so that's what I'm going to call it, even though it doesn't represent the actual dinosaur. So why don't we go ahead and take a closer look at the Sinoceratops. So as always, the packaging is basically the same as everything else. You have the volcano exploding in the background. This is a roarivore, hence the image up here that's showing the dinosaur roaring. You do have Blue and Owen. This is for 3+. And you can take a look at the action that it has there. That's pretty great. I know in my video where I found this, I actually didn't realize it was a roarivore at first. I totally forgot that it was, and I was pleasantly surprised. So on the back, let's take a look at these images down here. We have a Triceratops, the Pteranodon, and the Metracanthosaurus. So I don't have any of those. I just don't, and I wonder if they're putting it on this newer item just to kind of get people to keep buying them because they're still on the shelves. So let's see here. We have the push button for sound and head ramming action. You have the action right there, the push button on the back. And then also this is part of the Jurassic Facts app. So make sure to add this to your app as well and make it show up in your list of dinosaurs. So on the top here, it has a push button for the action and the sound, of course. I know a lot of people were saying that they had bad paint jobs on there. We'll take a closer look. At the first glance, I didn't really see any problems with it. So why don't we go ahead and unbox the thing? All right, so there we have it. It, like I said, the tail is disconnected. Here you can see it. And then on this side, it's just the open hole there for the tail to go into, and it locks in. So let's go ahead and push it right in there. Yep, just like all the others that need the tail connected, it snaps right in. So it doesn't really shift too much, so, just keep an eye out on it. And I see here, look, it doesn't really line up very well. It's very detailed here on the tail, but then over here, it's faded. I kind of like this a lot better because it looks more natural. This just looks like paint on there. So I guess we'll call it an issue. It's a little disconnect there. I don't really have a problem with it per se. This side, you can tell, oh yeah, look at this. So the coloring is even different there. You can see this is more of a peach almost when it comes to tan. And this is more of just like the whitish tan or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But yeah, let's take a closer look at the paint job on this thing. I love this. I think this thing is fantastic. So I guess you could sort of say that this is maybe a little sloppy up here with the paint job. Doesn't bother me per se. I think it kind of looks fine. I have no issue with it, but maybe if it was supposed to maybe just be painted orange around this circle. I don't know, but I think it looks fine. On a Pachyrhinosaurus, this is what it looks like, but on a Sinoceratops, this part is actually missing. And on here, there is a horn instead of this bulge right here, whatever that you call that. And then the frill is a bit different. They're more protruding out along the entire thing, and these are less curved on a Sinoceratops. So that is basically the difference there. You can tell it's a different species because of those distinguishing factors. Now on the skin here, you can see how raised it is. So while that might be a little messy in the paint job here, I think this is so highly detailed that it looks beautiful. with the raised skin, and then look at, it's all painted almost individually on there. It looks really good. The eye looks fine. The nose is detailed nicely, and then you can see the beak there does have a little bit of green on it. But overall, I think it's painted fine. On this side, let's take a look, because it doesn't look uniform, almost, but you can tell the orange is a little bit different on this side as well, so it's not as uniform. But yeah, I think this paint job's not so bad. I mean, I've seen a few different ones online that looked a little bit worse, so I'm happy with this. This thing looks good to me. And then the paint on the bottom, you can see this is more of that cream color, or peach color, and then it's the cream over here. Let's see what else we got. We got this. It almost looks like a bone or something just right there, but it's just part of the paint job. And then same thing on the back as well. Kind of goes down the entire thing. Yeah, and then in here, I was looking at this. This is a little loose. I don't know how tight this portion is supposed to be. I have no problem with that, but I wonder how loose that's supposed to be. When it comes to like ramming another dinosaur or something, a vehicle maybe, when you charge into it, I wonder how that impact will hold up over time. Because when you're playing with this as a kid, you want to beat it up. You want to ram it into things. This is specifically the type of dinosaur that would. I know when I used my old Triceratops from the Kenner line, that thing, I beat that thing up so bad. I smashed it into everything. Anything we used as a house, anything we used as a vehicle, or even another dinosaur, that thing smashed into everything, and it's still standing. So I don't know if you can say the same for this or not, because that head is so loose. It definitely feels fragile, so hopefully that's okay. As far as collecting goes, it's fine, but when it comes to playing, I'd be careful maybe. Then we have the push button up here. So on the back, you can see it's outlined there, so you can tell exactly where it is. But it blends in enough on the side, you can't really tell. But let's see. So I don't know, there could have been like 3 or 4 different sounds in there. That was really nice. I've loved all these roar-vores. I think they sound fantastic. This one sounds great, and it has not just roar effects, but stomping and sounds like they're knocking down stuff. So that's pretty awesome. I really appreciate that when it comes to sound effects. So there's the speaker right there. We do have a screw hole. I don't usually see screw holes on these, but there you go. There it is right there. There's the Jurassic Facts app. There's the Jurassic logo right there. So yeah, there's not much more to point out. We have a little model number, a lot of seams and stuff on the bottom, but that's okay. I'm fine with the one screw hole. It's not so bad, especially when it's on the bottom and you don't really see it. The legs themselves are on this like X-axis, I guess you can say. They move in and out. They move, back and forth a little bit. Not so much forward. It kind of like kicks it out a little bit. But that's about as the range of motion goes. And then the fronts also do the same thing. Not so much backwards, but definitely forwards a little bit. And then also, it goes in and out a tad. Not a lot, not as much as this one does. Now, this is nice for posability and stuff like that if you want to do different positions, so I think it's pretty great. Of course, like I said, it's not a Sinoceratops, it's a Pachyrhinosaurus, but it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a whole thing, and it goes back to the movie when they were switching the dinosaurs and whatnot, so it was a Sinoceratops in the movie, and they figured, I don't know, let's paint this Pachyrhinosaurus the same color scheme? I guess so. It would have been nice to see both versions, but this is what we got, and I'm happy with this version. I think it's fantastic, even though it's not the right dinosaur. So while it is a fairly big creature when it comes to the different dinosaurs, it actually looks kind of small now compared to the Stegosaurus. I love that Stegosaurus now. I'm a big fan of it. I kind of wish this was a little bit bigger now. It's kind of on the small side when compared. And when you feature the Sinoceratops in the movie, it was pretty giant. Maybe these are a little both undersized when it comes to these creatures that were portrayed in the films. But as far as a toy goes, I think it's great size, even though they're both completely dwarfed by the Triceratops from the first line. It's basically the same size as both of them combined, so that's how much bigger. And like I said, it's still intact. Everything still works. Even the motion still works. That's fantastic. You just squeeze aside there. And look, I mean, it's a little beat up over time, but it still looks good. It's still intact. I love this thing. And compared to that guy, this is a little small. It would have been nice to have a giant scale like this, but in terms of all the other dinosaurs, it kind of makes sense. It fits in. Then for further comparison, we have the Carnotaurus there. So the Carnotaurus is certainly bigger than that. And these two got into a fight in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So this is a perfect little matchup. And I think the version in the movie was certainly bigger, like I had said. But this is kind of nice. We'll say it's like a juvenile or something like that. Poor Owen is going to get consumed by lava. Hey, wake up, wake up. And it's licking his face. And he's rolling out of here. Goodbye, Owen. So there you have it. That is the Sinoceratops from Mattel for the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line. Thank you so much for watching. What do you guys think about this thing? Do you like this one? Do you think it has issues? Are you upset that it is not a Pachyrhinosaurus when it is a Sinoceratops on the box? What are you going to consider it? Are you going to call it a Pachyrhinosaurus? Might as well. I really appreciate you all taking the time out to watch these videos and all the other ones. If you want to, make sure to comment below, subscribe, like our videos here, share it around with your friends, tell everybody that you're watching reviews, podcasts, and so much more from the Jurassic Park Podcast on YouTube. Thank you again so much for watching, and enjoy.